Aoife, thank you very much for coming to studio.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for having me.
Your last day being 21, you're 22 tomorrow.
Yeah.
You just barely remember that, did you?
I know, literally, I was so focused on France that it was after the game and I nudged one of the girls and I was like, Jesus, it's my birthday on Tuesday. And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah. So, 22 tomorrow.
I imagine that a late night in Coppers probably isn't on the menu tonight.
No, I don't think it's ever on the menu, to be honest.
Isn't What do 20-year-olds do to celebrate their birthday these days?
God, I couldn't tell
What
you.
about you?
I'm always in camp for mine, which I absolutely love. Like, it was gas in 2023, before my first cap. It was my birthday before the Welsh game, so it was Friday and the match was on Saturday, and I'm lucky enough to share my birthday with Adele McMahon and Tricky too, so the two of us celebrated, and it's gas because Brian O'Driscoll and his daughter Sadie came in to present us our jerseys, and the two of us celebrating our birthday, so we got plenty of cake, we spent the night kind of just chatting away and whatnot, prepping for Wales.
Wow, amazing. Well, happy birthday anyway.
Cheers, thank you.
So 2 days on now from that 15 points to 27 defeat to France. What were the emotions like straight after the game in Belfast on Saturday, and how do you feel about the game now?
Yeah, we were disappointed. We were very frustrated with the result. I think you could see it, like, looking back on the game, like, and looking back on our reactions post game, we were all just deflated, and we were like, that's the one that got away, like, and it's gas. I was only just saying to one of the lads that, like, we're all very disappointed, but outside noise is it's really positive, like, and it's something for this group that not that we don't usually get when we lose, but like in previous years when we had lost a result, it was like, God, like, where is this group going and what's going on in the group, what's going on behind those doors and that kind of thing. Whereas now it's like, no, like, we really believe that there's something going on in this group, and like that green wave is still building, and like people are starting to join it, and they're really seeing what we're building. So even though we're really disappointed, the outside noise is fairly positive, like, in terms of like we were so close to beating France, and France are obviously a tier 1 side and they're a tier 1 nation, but yeah, we don't want to lose. We want to beat them. Yeah,
because you are an ambitious group. Scott Beeman said again last week, he wants you to become World Cup contenders. And I kind of think sometimes everybody else has to plug into your wavelength because you are really ambitious.
Oh yeah, we want to be the best in the world. Like, even like I've spoke to Scott, like, we'd be having meetings in one of the rooms in a HPC, and there's a picture outside the door, and like there's loads of pictures. So you have the women qualifying for the Olympics, you have the men winning their Grand Slams or that kind of thing. You've all these really big moments in Irish rugby, and there's a picture of our team with the qualified sign, and it's brilliant to see that we're qualified. But I've often had conversations with him being, we don't want to just be qualified. Like, we want to go on, we want to do something special. Like, we're not happy with just being qualified. We want to be World Cup contenders, and we want to be one as well. Like, so yeah, it's something that we strive for in our group, and I think we want to make Ireland successful again, and that includes a World Cup and a Six Nations.
And when did that ambition kind of start forming for you, do you think? And for you personally as well? Were you always like this?
For me personally, probably, yeah. Like, I think I've always been like this. I always wanted to be the best, whether that was 6-year-old me playing with the lads and wanting to be the best player in the world, or whether that was rugby or Gaelic or hurling or music. Like, I wanted to be the best in the world at anything I did, which obviously created quite a few arguments at home because it'd be like, I'm the best. No, you're not. And so like, I come from a really, really competitive family, and we're always trying to outdo each other. But I think that's always seeped into what I do, whether it be in school or whether it be music or sports or whatever. But I think for this group, there has always been that kind of belief. But I think the backing that we're getting from the RFU and the confidence that they're able to give us, and then obviously, like, we really believe in what we're doing and what we're trying to do. So I think like, we're all on the same wavelength, so it's always kind of going the right direction for us.
Yeah, and Scott also said last week that he wants you to kind of close the gap on France, on England. So Ireland were beaten by 50 points in Cork 2 years ago. It was a 21-point losing margin in Le Mans last year, and 12 points on Saturday. So do you take solace from that, or is it just like, we didn't win? And like, is there also some part of you that said, okay, we need to be patient, but is that hard to be when you are that ambitious?
God, I don't think any of us have have like even thought about being patient. Like we just want to beat them and we want to beat them now. Like, and I think that's what drives us as well. Like in terms of like we're a very competitive bunch. Like it's part of our training ID to compete at every opportunity. But yeah, like I think we can take a lot from it. Like whether you win or lose, you can always take stuff from games. But yeah, like when you look at it and you're 2 points down with 12 minutes to go, and like we were in it, so it's
Yeah, did you think
tough one to
did
take.
you think he had it at that point, bringing it back, like to that 2 points, 15 points to 17, as you said? Did you think he had the momentum at that point?
Well, I can't say like you ever think in a game that we have it, like unless it's some sort of ridiculous scoreline. But I think when you're in a fight with a tier one nation, there's never that moment of we have this until the ref is blowing the whistle. Hence why we're oh God, I can't even remember how much we were down by at like last 10 minutes ish. But like we're still fighting. Like, and I think with this group, it's like no matter what the score, we're going to keep fighting, and you're not going to be able to get rid of us because like we're still going to keep fighting for each other. And I think that comes down to the culture that we have and how connected we want to be as a squad. So I think yeah, there's no moment that you can say any of us stop fighting because we really wanted that win.
Yeah, hard to beat is one kind of thing that I've heard repeated a lot. The 3 tries, you scored 2 of them, all stem from the line out. One of the biggest improvements in this team has been the line out. It was so impressive. Excuse me, again on Saturday, and we saw some variation as well at the line out as well, some short throws, some quick throws. Alex Codling came in as a new forwards coach last summer. What are those details that he's done, like in particular for ye in the line out, that has made it the strength that we saw that it was on Saturday?
Oh, like I think I probably wouldn't do it justice speaking of Cotters. Like he's probably God, I can't speak highly enough of him, to be honest. Like, and I know the girls feel the exact same because he's a character. Like he's just himself with us, which is what we love about him. But his attention to detail and his ability to put confidence in us, whether that's just through repetition or like just backing us, he's an unbelievable person, but he's an unbelievable coach as well. So I think like you look back to pre-Cotters and the line out that we had, and like it was functioning at stages, wasn't very like it wasn't very reliable at times, like, and that might influence certain decisions that you make on pitch if a set piece isn't going to plan. But like now it's that thing of Diana gets the ball and she's like, no, like our line out's going well, we can go to the corner here and get a few scores off it. So yeah, no, Cotters is unbelievable. So he is, and I know the girls all feel the exact same way about him.
Yeah, they sure do, it seems. For you, Aoife, another world-class performance on Saturday. You were the top Irish carrier with 17 carries, second with the most successful tackles with 12. You had the 2 tries. You look at last year, when you were 21, you were included on the World Rugby Women's 15's Dream Team of the Year. You won a few Player of the Year awards. You scored 2 tries in that win over New Zealand, shortlisted for Player of last year's Six Nations. Did it feel different for you coming into this Six Nations compared to last year?
Yes and no. Like at the end of the day, like I know what I want to do, and I want to be the best in the world. And I've said it since I was a kid, like I want to be the best player in the world. And I think for me, I've worked really hard on myself, and I've been quite reflective over past games, whether that be Ireland, Leinster or Wolfhounds or whoever I play with. Like I'm always quite reflective and quite critical. So like I always look at where I can improve, and it might only be by 1%, but those 1% matter when it comes to a tier 1 competition. So yeah, like I think it changed because obviously like myself and Ireland are no longer a surprise to these teams, and like they can go out and mark us. But I've said it in the past that if they want to mark me with 3 players, like I've no problem putting somebody else through a hole, and then they're looking at themselves going, oh no, like, do you know, we have to mark that person too, because Ireland is like it's covered like in world class players, and if it's not me, it'll be one of the girls who get over. So yeah, like I think I definitely felt a bit more kind of heat on the pitch, but like I've worked very hard on myself with the coaches to be better than I was last year.
Yeah, because they talk about that second season thing, don't they? And I'm not sure where that comes from, but is it something that you've been conscious of as well? Is that even as your reputation grows, in some ways also not put too much pressure on yourself? Or
Yeah, yeah, I have thought about it a bit, to be honest. Like I spoke about it with my mum and that kind of thing, in terms of like there was a bit of nerves going into this season, being like, what if I can't do what I did last year for my country? Like, what if I can't be my best for the country? Um, but like, she's very supportive, and she's the best at kind of turning it around and going, well, what if you are, like, and
and how did that
like,
make you feel when she said that?
I'm kind of going like, yeah, but what if I'm not, like, but yeah, no, like, she's very supportive, and I think like my whole family are, to be honest, and even like my brother's out in Dubai, and he's watching all the games and messaging me being like, God damn it, like, you've just gone up in the cost of your own fantasy, and I'm like, I'm not even looking at that now, will you go away? But yeah, no, like, I think yeah, like, you think about it a bit, but at the end of the day, you have to play a game if you're selected, and you have to be your best for the country. Because that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what I do or what I say. Like, it's what I can put out on the pitch that is the main focus, and how I can be the best for my teammates.
Yeah, and as well as your mom, like, do you talk to a sports psychologist about this?
Yeah, I would have in the past. So we had a guy called Aaron in with us, and he was class. So he was. And then, as well as that, like, you've Sean Ryan, who speaks a lot to the group about like redhead, bluehead, and how to be your best and how to perform to the best of your abilities.
Explain that again, the redhead, bluehead.
So basically, there's a balance of redhead and bluehead, and redhead is basically you go into fight, flight, or gosh, I can't even remember the third one. Basically, it's human instincts. And on a pitch, it might look like a player getting really angry and giving away silly penalties, or kind of hiding on the pitch and not being themselves. And then bluehead is probably not as riled up as what you'd need to be, but it's that calmness and that clarity piece that you can see. But in reality, you need to be a mix of redhead and bluehead, and everybody's mix is different. So I might need to be a little bit more red than blue, but I still need blue to see the pictures and see the kind of scenarios that are going on. But let's say, I don't know, Dana might need to be a bit more blue. Like, she might need to take it back blue to see the images that are ahead of her and to make the right decisions. And then obviously with goal kicking, like, she needs to be quite calm and to regulate that as well. So everybody is different, but it's about finding what's right for you and what's right for the squad.
When you look back on the Aoife Wafer, the 19-year-old Aoife Wafer who made her debut against Italy 3 years ago, how far along do you think you've come since then?
Well, I'm definitely a bit bigger anyways. I look back at photos, and I wouldn't say I was small when I was 19, but yeah, I definitely had a little bit less bulk on me, I'd say. So it probably just meant that I'd to be a bit smarter with how I played and that kind of thing. Whereas now, like, I've worked really hard on my size and really hard on my strength and that kind of thing. And I think I was always quite naturally strong, but to hone it and to be able to implement it on pitch is something that I've worked quite hard on. And like, I'm seeing that in the likes of tackles and the likes of carries, because like, if the girls ask me to carry a ball into 4 French defenders, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it with the best kind of emphasis that I can put on it. But yeah, I need a bit of strength behind me for that. But I think, like, as well, like, it's like everything is different in women's rugby as well, with the supports, the coaching staff, everything in terms of Irish rugby. So yeah, there's a lot different for the team, but yeah, there's a lot different for me too.
You wore 8 in your back at the weekend. How different is that for you compared to the other?
I don't think it was much different, to be honest. Like, because like, Britt and I, we swapped quite a bit with the scrums. So like, we were still swapping at the weekend. So yeah, like, it wasn't too different, to be honest. Like, it's gas because I now have a 6, 7 and 8. But yeah, like, it's funny because I think Britt hadn't played 6 before for Ireland either. So the two of us have a bit of a collection for back row jerseys now.
Yeah, you mentioned Brittany Hogan there. Obviously, Adele McMahon came on as a sub the last day as well. You look at Erin King, made her championship, excuse me, debut. Are you kind of going with Erin? Was there you know, she kind of came on the scene last year. Thank God, you know, she's come on the scene the same time as me as well. She's a fantastic player.
Yeah, she's brilliant. But like Erin and I have grown up playing together in terms of like when she came to Ireland, like I think the first time I'd ever met her was a Leinster SOE camp, and we were roommates with Rue Campbell as well. So the three of us were very different back then. Like we were very young, but yeah, like she's an absolutely brilliant player, and she's a fantastic person to have around. She's full of energy and gets people hyped up for the sessions and for the games. But yeah, she's incredible. Like she's come onto the scene from obviously playing sevens for a good while, and like she's always had that natural ability, even from under 18s. Like we speak about it a bit at home, and we speak about it. We've spoken about it in kind of groups in camp, that like the Leinster under 18s team that won the interprovincials for the first time in, I'm going to say 2019, but I don't actually know the year. We have, I think we counted it before, and it's over 15 players anyways that are internationally capped, whether that be sevens or 15s, and a lot of them are the people who are leading Ireland now, or who are trying to put Ireland in a better place, in the likes of Dana and Aoife Dalton and Ruth and Erin and myself, and God, like the list goes on. And then obviously you have the girls who are playing with sevens at the minute, in your likes of Katie Whelan and like all those girls who are capped, but we're all on the same team. Like we grew up playing together, so it's crazy when you grow up and then all of a sudden you're on the big stage with your teammates from when you were a kid.
You mentioned Sean Ryan there earlier. Obviously, he's the cultural lead of the squad. Like you really do see that connection that's in the squad, and there's been a lot of talk about the green wave, your kind of new ethos. I spoke to Amy Lee Costigan about this recently as well, and she said it's something that's really infectious within this environment. Can you describe what the green wave is for people who don't quite know about it?
I think it's something different for everybody, to be honest. Like everyone kind of has their own meaning to it, but for me it's that thing of like the amount of support that we have, and the amount that we're going to fight for each other, and that connection that we have with each other. And like we speak about it all the time in terms of like a lot of our even words or phrases that we use on pitch are related to either Ireland or waves or that kind of thing. So like we speak about it all the times in terms of like we're creating ripples, but we want to turn them into waves. And like even you look at Italy this week, and that wave is going to hit Italy like it's a tsunami. So yeah, like I think it means something different for everybody, but yeah, it's something that we want the Irish and the Irish public to get on top of, because it's something that you're not going to want to miss out on, I think.
Yeah, and of course, coming into a World Cup year, I know the picture is all about the Six Nations for now, but that is so big. Did you dream of playing in a World Cup when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, you always do. Like whether it was football and you dream of playing in All Ireland, or whether it's rugby and you dream of playing a World Cup final more so than anything. But yeah, it's something that you dream of. And like even I was one of those kids who a lot of the players knew by name because I was at all the events, and I was a very big fangirl of a lot of those players. And it's funny now because you'd say it to them and they're like, yeah, well, like sure, we only played a few games, and I'm like, yeah, but you were my hero, like, you know. So I think like yeah, you dream of going to a World Cup, but we've a chance to make that dream a reality, and like to go and do better than what the 2014 women's team did in France when they bet New Zealand in a quarter. So yeah, like the women have got to World Cup semis already.
Yeah.
Men haven't yet, but yeah, we want to do one better than that.
Yeah, Scott, again, you know, as you said, World Cup contenders. How far do you feel you can go in the World Cup?
Oh, like we have the belief to go the whole way, like and to do something really special. So I guess we have to obviously focus on the Six Nations first. Like we haven't spoken too much about it, but I think this squad at the rate that we're going, like we could do anything. Like if you get us all rowing in the same direction, then you've a pretty strong team to try and beat, and we want to be that team that like is very hard to beat. But I guess it starts with this Six Nations, and obviously the results on Saturday didn't go our way, but we're on to Italy now, and we speak about like not just putting performances out on our shores in Ireland. Like we want to go away, and obviously we've Italy, Wales and Scotland away, and like they're quite hard teams to beat in their home grounds, but yeah, like with our belief and with our talent across the squad, you don't know what this squad can do.
Yeah, before we get on to Italy, I want to ask you about the Women's Lions Tour coming up in 2027. Would you love to become a Lion?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like it's another dream, I guess. But like I was lucky even growing up that the likes of Shane Byrne coached me when I was in the youths. Like I played with his daughters in Gorey, so like having the likes of him and being like, geez, like he's a Lion. Like it's crazy. Like it is something that I would love to be a part of. Like it's funny because like I've 3 countdowns on my phone and they're on my home screen. One of them was obviously France. It's now changed to Italy. The other one is the first game for the World Cup. And the other one is the Lions Tour. And I want to be on that. So like I have to do everything in my power to try be on that, but it means being the best I can and consistently being the best I can, because if I'm not the best that I can be, then like it's not what the squad needs, and it's all about the squad first. So by me being my best, I know that I can help the squad, whether I play or whether I don't play. I can help the squad be where we want them to be.
That red scrum cap will go well with a red jersey with it.
I don't know about that now. Ask me in about 2 years maybe.
So come here, Italy and Parma on Sunday. You've got that 8-day turnaround, which will be very beneficial. I know it kind of comes back in the latter part because you'll only have a 6-day turnaround, later in the Six Nations. You know, so at what point of this week do you let the regrets of the game against France go and just switch into Italy?
I don't think it's even about regrets. Like I think, like we have to look at it and take learnings. Like there's no point looking at it as if a what if mindset, because a what if mindset isn't going to help anybody. Like I think you have to look at it and be like, okay, well, if we can fix this part of our game or this part of our game, then it'll help versus Italy and it'll help going down the line in the tournament as well. So yeah, like I know that the lads will, like the coaching staff will have something planned in terms of where we can target Italy, and the player group. We have a strategy group that a lot of us are involved in, and we're doing our homework on Italy too, as well as the wider squad. But it's very much a plan to attack Italy that comes from a player and a coaching group. Like it's a cohesive thing. So yeah, like I think we'll review France. We'll have points that we're to work on, whether that be as a group or individually, and yeah, we'll go and attack Italy and hopefully whack some Italians.
Ever been to Parma before?
No, I actually haven't. No, I wasn't part of that squad that
yeah,
that had a bit of misfortune in Parma. But yeah, it's a place I suppose that's probably hard to go to for a lot of the girls. But like this is a completely different group, and the belief that we have in our group and the culture that we have is something that like you can't ignore. So yeah, like I'm very excited to go to Parma, and I don't think I've even ever been to Italy. So
oh really?
Yeah, no, never, never. So yeah,
first time for everything.
Be interesting. Not that we're there for the holidays or anything. No. But yeah, that would be cool.
Well, the very best of luck this weekend and for the rest of the Six Nations. Aoife Wafer, thank you very much for coming to the studio.
Thank you very much.